My name is Becky Singleton. I'm a single mom of two fantastic daughters who are super talented. An entrepreneur, a health and fitness coach, and I walk my own talk by working out every day. Motivational speaking, Reiki practitioner healer are some of the things I love to do. I've survived cancer. I'm also an agent of change at the highest level. But what I enjoy the most is cooking for the ones that I love. So join me in leveling up and being more happy, healthy, and fit. Hi, everybody. I'm Becky Singleton, and you're on Happy, Healthy, and Fit today. I've talked about a lot of serious conversations, and I thought it would be just kind of more fun if I shared with you some of my dating situations that have happened that are kind of funny, or things that I learned. I was married for long periods of time, and I hadn't dated since the 90s. So I learned a lot. I just think they're kind of funny now as I look back. But I'll share some of those stories. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe I'll just make you laugh. But before we start, I want us to remember it is time to vote. Voting is so important this year more than ever. So please get out and vote, both for our national election and our local elections. Please get out and vote. Remember, we need to continue to social distance. We need to make sure that we are washing our hands for 20 seconds and that we are wearing our masks in public. That hasn't stopped. So I look forward to making you chuckle, laughing a little bit, and here we go on Happy, Healthy, and Fit. Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today on Happy, Healthy, and Fit. I wanted to share just a few funny dating stories. When I first became single, I realized how difficult it was going to be to even meeting anybody. My lifestyle was just different than it was when I was younger. I lived in a new state. So I didn't grow up in Texas. I didn't go to school in Texas. So I didn't know anybody. That's the first thing. The second thing is when I got here, I was already in a couple relationship. So there was no need for me to even know a single man. That was a big challenge for me. Also, I was very active in my daughter's life as she was going through her schools. So I was a PTO president several times. Obviously, about her swim career, which took time and practices every day. I thought, where am I going to meet somebody? Because I'm not what you would call a barfly. I don't go clubs. I was older now. I'm just thinking, what am I going to do? So a few single girlfriends said, hey, why don't you get on those apps and load up a profile? My friend Michael had suggested going on Match at first, and that didn't really work out for me because it felt too invasive. I put my profile up one day, and by the second, probably the end of the first day into the second day, I had a ridiculous number, over 300 gentlemen asking me out, and it just was scary for me, and I didn't like that. So we tried the apps. And the thing I liked about the apps were that I could pick the gentleman, and they didn't necessarily, even though they may have picked me on the other side, if I didn't pick them, we're not meeting. So that made me feel a little safe, and I did like that. And out of that whole ordeal, I met probably, 3 men that I feel to this day are worthy of being in my life. One of them I'm still really good friends. We're very good friends today. And so just to know that it is possible. It's a filtering system, I think, if I can think about it now. I don't use those apps. I'm not actually dating right now, but these stories I'm about to tell you are kind of interesting and funny. Okay, so one of the stories I'm going to share with you was probably one of the very first times. So I kind of strategically set it up like an interview. So once I had gone through discussing, talking, communicating through the system, their app, and if I felt safe, I would then exchange my personal phone number. But I didn't do that often. Very rare did gentlemen get my number because I didn't like the dialogues that were going on. So it was kind of like, I'm good. I could disconnect them, and that was it. So I decided this one gentleman, I said, okay, I need to go and do what I called a meet and greet. So we traditionally met like at a Starbucks or a Panera Bread or something. I always make sure I was there earlier than them. I would get my own drink. I didn't want them paying for anything. I just wanted to survey who was showing up. So this gentleman shows up. He walks into Panera Bread, and he had, talked to me about meeting him halfway. And I said, no, if you want to meet me, you need to come to where my area is. Not necessarily my home, but where I live. So he did. And as he walked in, he kind of looked me up and down like that. And he said, why are you single? And I said, somebody was stupid. And he laughed and chuckled and sat down. And he kept looking at me. He kept looking at me. He said, can I touch your hair? I said, touch my hair? He said, yeah, I like to pull hair. And if you have a weave, I can't pull your hair. I literally looked at my watch and was like, oh, I completely forgot. I need to go get my daughter. I'm not going to be staying. I ended that date so fast. Came out of there going, oh my goodness, who talks to women like that? So those were just kind of the experiences I was getting, and they weren't fun. So I really started to tighten up my kind of requirements. So I had met a gentleman on the app, but we didn't connect on the app. We actually connected via like a party. I saw him at a function here in Houston, and we recognized each other. And we parked right near each other at this function. So we walked into this party, and we walked in and we went our separate ways. I remember, getting a cocktail, walking around. I danced with myself in the corner somewhere. And as I was getting ready to leave, he had offered to walk me to my vehicle that night. And I thought, oh, that was nice of you. So I'm getting ready to leave, but he was talking to a young lady. And I said, listen, I'm getting ready to leave. And he goes, oh, do you need me to walk you? And I thought, no, because he was engaged in a conversation with someone else. I said, no. He goes, well, why don't you give me your number and call me that you got there safe? And I thought, okay, that's nice. Let's try that. So we did. We exchanged phone numbers, and I walked to my vehicle. And as I was getting there, he said, did you make it? And I said, yes, I made it. I'm heading home. It turned out when we were talking, he knew people in the neighborhood where I lived. And so that was interesting. He kind of knew where my house would be in comparison to people he knew. I wasn't really quite comfortable with that, but it is what it is. So he ended up coming by the next morning, like 8 o'clock in the morning. I thought, who is knocking on my door? I don't invite people to my house. And he came by, we talked, I ended up making him breakfast, and he ended up leaving. And we connected again maybe the following week, and he came by, and I made dinner. And so as the time went on, I noticed he had a charger on the corner of my kitchen. And I had one of the block chargers for the Apple phone, and I said, oh, let me plug his phone in and get it all charged up for him. I'm going to fast forward this story. As he was getting ready to leave, I didn't notice it at first, but when I went to look for my charger, it was no longer attached to the plug that I'd plugged it in. And I thought, that's weird. Maybe he put it somewhere. And I looked in the kitchen. I'm like, his charger isn't on the counter anymore. Like, where could our chargers be? So I texted him. I said, hey, can you tell me, I plugged your phone in, can you tell me where you put my charger? I'm looking for it. And he said, oh, I took it by accident. And I'm thinking, but your hoopty charger isn't here. So I thought, oh my God, I got a thief on my hands. And it just blew me away to the point where it was very innocent, right? And he actually stole something from my house. Didn't even think that it was okay for him to return it. So I thought, oh God, this is not good. So, as the dates continued, I went on and I had met a gentleman early on, and then we reconnected maybe like 6 months later, and he asked me for dinner, and I went to dinner with him, and he was a very nice man. I just didn't feel any spark, any connection, but we had a nice dinner, had a nice conversation, and as the night was ending, he was getting a little close with me, and I thought, oh my God, the breath was horrible. I just like, so gentlemen, put a little mint in your mouth. Even ladies, it was so horrific. I just was like, I gotta go now. It's just, dating wasn't fun for me. I didn't enjoy it. So when I did meet a few of the men that I thought were special, that were unique, that were, again, worthy of more of my time, I appreciated them, because some of these dates were not so fun and sometimes even inappropriate. We're all adults. You can do whatever you want. If you will meet someone you like them, there's a spark, knock yourself out. But I really value the connection. I value getting to know you. I value who you are as a person. I expect a certain level of integrity when I'm meeting somebody, and I wasn't finding that. And I thought, I can't do this anymore. So I eventually, the last gentleman I met that I really thought, wow, he's pretty special, I completely got off all the apps after that. And I've never been on. That's been about 2 years now. I haven't been on the app. So it's okay. And then the COVID season, and if you know about my heartbreak story, you know that all happened. And it's really made me just think about what's important for me, paying attention to my own self, and really being more of a, focused on my internal love for myself. And when things get better, then I'll have an opportunity to meet someone again, but I'm not worried about it. I had some interesting moments on these dates. I'm not quite sure all the time that everybody's intentions are the same. You do need to come with what your intentions are, and things aren't matching up, it's not a good situation. There are sometimes people who are just kind of acting out a little bit on wanting to be 20 again. And we call them the player from the Himalaya. If that's not the kind of guy you're looking for, you need to cut that loose real quick, because a lot of them just want to hit and run, and that's really not my game. I'm not interested in that. And so I just find that sometimes dating is a challenge if you're not clear with what you want. So I hope that you enjoyed my fun little stories today. Maybe you learned something, but I want you to know, I want you to be happy, healthy, and fit. I'm Becky Singleton, and I'm just like you.